Last Stories at the Bar!
A night in with Mauler and the drinker, getting trashed with the web screen thinkers. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop off the cork, have a glass of wine, I feel safe, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but for me a Pinot Noir, it's open bar with our hosts, Mauler and the critical drinker.
All right, welcome back again. We must stop meeting like this, Mauler, all these super chat catch-ups.
Whoa. It's a multiverse of super chat catch-ups.
It is a crazy time that we live in, but yeah, this is kind of what happens when I leave it unattended for a week, so we are catching up now. And hey, we got the other one done, Open Bar 118, pretty easily, so let's see if we can repeat the magic with this one and answer everyone's questions. Well, I'm going to dive right in. So, B-Chain says, haven't seen anything this late and gay since Jaguar released an ad meant for 2019. What do you mean, cars? Yeah, that was quite the advert, wasn't it? Gosh. I think it was Chris who was suggesting that this was going to be some kind of like bluff, you know, and the real advert would come out soon enough and that would just completely recontextualize it. But I don't think it is. I think this is it. This is what we're getting for Jaguar.
Oh, wow.
This is how they've rebranded themselves. It is a bold move, and I don't think it's going to pay off for them. Anyway, JT Kirk says, thanks again for signing my book in Grand Rapids right before the Sunday panel. It was great to sit in with you and Gary for a while. Well, thank you, man. It was a pleasure to meet you. Jimmy Dan says, Drinker, as an aspiring author, your recent talk on BSUP about the literary industry proved very disheartening. At this point, do you think traditional publishing is even a viable option for most men? Well, I mean, I hope it still is, because otherwise, damn, man, that is a depressing thought indeed. But yeah, just claim to be gay or something. I don't know, or just say you're like a dancing space unicorn or something, and you'll probably get picked up by someone. But you know, joking aside, I like to think that, you know, they will still hire on a degree of merit, and there are still options open. Like, men do still get published. It's not completely closed off for you. And the worst case scenario, you know, self-publishing is a pretty viable option these days. With a bit of publicity, you can do some good things with it. So don't give up yet. Dean from Australia says, Drinker, my lord, your Star Trek Unification video had me sobbing. Well, good. I aim to please. Yeah, man, it's pretty rare that I feel actual emotions watching things, but that one got me. It really did. Maybe it was just nice to see Kirk and Spock back together again, you know, even if it was only for like a minute. Yeah, I was thinking that this must have been what Star Wars theory felt like when Luke Skywalker showed up in Mandalorian.
Maybe.
Anyway, Stephen DeLeon says, I plan on getting White Girl Wasted with you and Ryan at this year's MegaCon. Wow, join us. We'll do our best to facilitate you. Ben Mangerir, sorry if I butchered your name there, says, Muller, I can't bring myself to watch the Arcane Season 2 EFAPs yet. It's too painful. Hopefully in the future they do 3 to 4 seasons instead of this ham fist.
You know what? Just check the episodes out once you're ready. They are. I've said before, they kind of double up as therapy sessions at this point. Just everybody goes through it nice and slow and laments stories. Just a bit.
You are you familiar with like the production history of seasons 1 and 2?
Only like in a surface way. Nothing super specific.
Well, I was just wondering if you could perhaps clue me in on this. I was told by someone today that the guy who worked on one of the senior guys who worked on Toy Story 2 was there to oversee Arcane Season 1 to essentially tie together all the ideas that the game company wanted to bring into the show. And that's part of the reason why it was quite a nice, concise, well-structured season. But he was not available for Season 2.
First I've heard of that, but any explanation at this point is going to seem like it has a lot of credence. I'm actually counting the days before there's a flood of criticism for that season. Is only so long talking about like characters fucking each other that's going to distract people before they start having to think about the story.
Yeah. Stitch says, Drinker, your Star Trek Unification review was as moving as the video. Thank you. Thanks, man. That really seems to have struck a chord with people. And Sneck says the same thing. Unification hit me right in the feels. It was a good short. I liked it. Cordovan Brown says, please mention the Jaguar situation even briefly. Oh, we did. Believe that. Eurodoc. Speaking of Gladiator 2, do you think Pedro gets all these roles because he fills a DEI quota while being able to convincingly play a generic white guy so they can cheaply claim Latino inclusion without writing it? I mean, I don't want to put words into people's mouths, but if someone was to tell me that from a studio, I would believe them. It seems like kind of this sort of dumb thing that they would do. So, yeah, I think it's more likely, though, that he's just flavor of the month. And he's been popular in a few big things, and they're just trying to capitalize on his momentum by casting him in a lot of things. And possibly he's a bit too eager to take on roles. I guess there's a combination of things at play there. Marksman says, has Platoon seen Unicorn Wars yet? I don't know. Has he?
He said no on the stream for that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a couple of these I might have done on the night because the super chat system got a little bit messed up at my end, so I might repeat a couple. Edit Man says, thoughts on Stellar Blade coming to PC next year? Yes, bring on the mods. Snex says, oh yeah, I think I answered this one as well. The process for mailing me something. Yeah, so if you want to send me something, just email me and I can send you the PO box address. That is the easiest way. Yeah, Story Secrets. Have you folks seen the new trailer for the live action How to Train Your Dragon? Talk about unnecessary. Yeah, we talked about this on Friday Night Tights as well, actually.
I mean, it's just the whole world is just kind of like, fine, do it because they're doing it with everything. So
yeah,
there we go. Next thing.
I mean, I guess like being a bit older, like I kind of missed the whole How to Train Your Dragon thing because like I wasn't a kid when the first one came out, and yeah, I don't think I'm not super invested in that series. I guess is what I'm saying. Cannon Folderall says, Endgame was only 5 years ago. It feels like a lifetime. Marvel's high water mark is now clearly visible as we watch the low tide receding into sludge. Oh, yes. That's 5 years. That's a long time now, actually, when I do think about it. Cole Hauser says, Captain Black America Man. That's too funny. Well, I didn't coin the phrase. It wasn't you, apparently, because I brought this up on the stream. I guess it must have been someone else, and I've just, like, picked it up somehow. But, oh well.
Well, I don't know how people have. I know that Gary's is Captain African American, right? That's what he says.
That's close enough. Maybe I just heard that and just like took it to the next stage. Captain Wrecked says, I'm man enough to admit that I cried. They nailed it. You should be man enough to admit that. There's nothing wrong with crying about Star Trek. Yeah. Mr. Yang, Elon Musk made a tweet about Your Name, an anime film, saying it's a beautiful movie. I agree. My question is, how much of an effect can a big public figure have on the industry? Keep up the great work. I think if you're talking about someone like Elon Musk, he probably can have quite an influence because it's not just him, it's the number of people that are going to pick up on what he says. And it does start that kind of landslide of public opinion, I suppose. Not everyone can do it, obviously, but he's pretty big when it comes to that sort of thing. And I guess what I like is that he seems to be pretty tuned into the culture these days. Not just like, like culture war stuff, but I mean just like he's kind of into a lot of geeky franchise stuff as well, which is kind of nice to see. So he knows when companies are pulling a lot of bullshit. Master of Puppets says, just rewatched Lord of the Rings trilogy. Which one do you think has the best opening? For me, it's the Two Towers, Gandalf versus the Balrog. I think we might answer this one on the night as well.
Yeah, the majority vote was Fellowship.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that too. I'm pretty sure I said that at the time. Right, Big J says, Mauler, you know how Interstellar did the whole love transcends time and space thing, but it was stupid and cringe? Star Trek Unification did the same thing in under 10 minutes, and it's actually good.
I mean, for the record, there are stories that do love saves the day or friendship saves the day that I'm not even like saying it in the sense of like someone could say that that's what Lord of the Rings is. I mean, like even a close to literal, the concept of love or friendship saves the day. It can work for sure. It's you know what I'm thinking about, right? It drives me nuts in Interstellar when the scientist suggests that her connection with a loved one is so powerful that they should perhaps choose that uh, direction to navigate because it's like in and of itself so powerful and special that it's like the universe telling us we should go to the planet
Yeah,
that
it's
has objectively the worst of stats. It's like, what the fuck?
yeah, it's just bullshit, and it's like it came out of a kid's Disney movie. It's that simplistic and silly. It's so
Yeah.
weird to see it in a Christopher Nolan film. And yeah, like I think with Unification, it's a slightly different premise where it's almost like a glimpse into the afterlife and like what two souls are reunited at the end of their
Yeah,
little journey through life. So that's kind of a different premise.
I'm already very aware of how there's way more mechanics involved and history involved in Star Trek Unification. Not to mention, by the way, this is kind of why I don't like it being compared, even with my limited knowledge of Star Trek, being compared with that Luke Skywalker appearance. Because my big issue with the Luke Skywalker appearance wasn't just the fact that he looked skinwalkery, but also just how nonsense that moment in the story was, like why he had turned up, and then how he didn't ask anything to anybody about anything, didn't seem to even care about the nature of all these people being here and the Empire and all that sort of stuff. Basically, my point is that he felt extremely out of character. He looked uncanny, and I didn't like it being used just to drag everyone in with him. Meanwhile, this unification stuff, I mean, I was in a call with obviously Gary and as speculating on what all of the references are trying to build, like what the story is in that sequence, what it's referencing, what it's almost trying to repair that had previously been broken in Star Trek, or at least mishandled. And you've got people like Robert Meyer Burnett who do like hour-long streams talking about exactly what every last detail was meant to evoke and reference and bring forth, from other stuff. And I just like, to me, that those are on opposite ends in terms of execution of a thing. The only connection,
Yes.
of course, is appealing to imagery that will draw nostalgic feelings out of you.
Yeah, and I think, gosh, you could make an excellent video actually comparing the two and like the meaning behind them and the heart behind them and like the amount of thought that went into one versus, yeah, as you say, just being a cheap bit of key jangling to give you a character that you like and a bit of fan service. So, yeah, man, I respect what they did with Unification, and damn, the CGI is impressive. We're at that point now where it's like we can pretty much make this work. Like
So
if you
correct me if I'm wrong, you've got an actor doing the actual thing, and then you've got, didn't William Shatner actually give his like face a performance somewhat that got put
so
on and composited, and then like AI to help correct any like errors?
it's a complicated one. I think maybe I was under the misapprehension that Shatner did more than he actually did when I made my video review of this. I think really his only direct like contribution on screen was when you see him from behind, like walking through the garden area in the very first shot. Yeah, I think in terms of like his facial structure and stuff, it was Sam Witwer who did
Yeah.
the sort of physical stand-in for him, and obviously they put a certain amount of makeup on him to get him close to what Shatner looked like, and then just did the rest as a digital map from like archive footage, I suppose, of Shatner from from his various appearances. And however they did it, whatever combination of black magic and witchcraft they used, it's pretty fucking effective. There's a couple of bits where he's walking around and he looks a little bit janky, but like we can fix that. And it just, yeah, as I was about to say, it makes me think if you decided like, yeah, we want to do a sort of original series era movie again with Kirk and Spock and the original actors, we could do that. We could actually make that work and have it look natural. And that's both scary and kind of awesome. I don't know. It's just the technology's advanced now to that point where it's almost indistinguishable, which is pretty impressive. Joe Themig, thanks for the unification recommendation, an amazing tribute. I wish there would have been more verbal interaction. It made me realize how much I missed from these characters. Sad to know that we'll never see that again. Well, I guess that's the point. Like, we could potentially with this technology, but I get what you mean. I think the fact that they're able to tell a complete story with so much emotional resonance and something that you can follow without having to say a single word, that is impressive by itself. That is a skill of cinematography, and they did it pretty good. So I was fine with the fact that they didn't talk directly in it. Ron B says, was great chatting with you and Gary at Grand Rapids. They say never meet your heroes, but you guys turned out to be pretty awesome. Hope you all come back. Thank you, and you were awesome too. AJM says, thoughts on the new Jag advert? Oh yeah, we gave our thoughts on that. Don't worry, there's a whole video for it. Radio Spec, hail the open bar. What movie characters would you all want to have a World's End style adventure with? That's a pretty good one. So, go on a big drinking pub crawl while fighting aliens and try to stave off the apocalypse. Who would we want to go with? And it's got to be characters, not actors.
Okay. I guess we're doing this for the sense of fun rather than trying to win, right?
Yeah, you can't just pick like Darth Vader or something and just fucking kill everything.
What if I want Darth Vader for his company?
He would be a shit drinking buddy, though, wouldn't he? Like, how would he even imbibe the alcohol? He'd have to like plug it into a port.
He would have an attachment, yeah.
The drinking attachment.
Well, I mean, maybe Jack Sparrow. He could be fun.
I would imagine so. Yeah, he'd be a good choice.
Almost maybe want like a straight man in there just to create a bit of a dynamic.
Yeah. I think Les Grossman from Tropic Thunder, just because one, he would be great to like rant at people if they give you trouble. And I imagine he can hold his drink pretty well as well. He's a big dude.
Trying to think of like, I mean, I would drag in Spike from Buffy for sure.
It's always with the Buffy, isn't it?
That's what everyone says whenever I reference it once per month. Nobody ever says that for Lord of the Rings.
Every super chat catch up.
I was thinking, who from Lord of the Rings would I grab?
It's probably going to be Gimli, I think, wouldn't it? He'd be a good drinking buddy.
Probably. He does seem like a pretty reliable. But I don't know. Like, would you want the Witch King? Maybe he could be funny.
I mean, it'd be funny to watch him drink, actually, because like
he's forced to be on our team, so he's got to be like chill and drink, and then we could ask him questions like, "What's like your favorite book?" And he's like, "I don't feel comfortable answering this."
Just ask him, like, "Do you like to party? What was it? when did you get your first girlfriend? You know, it's like."
I should be killing you guys. Stop asking me these questions.
Have another round. That'd be good. Cinnaholic gave us $10, so thank you. Day Tripper says, apparently Cynthia Erivo will be playing the main character in The Search for Gollum. No CGI will be needed this time. I mean, okay, sure. Smooth Satire says, I know it's late, but you should move to reviewing movies that premiered in 1926. Well, we could.
Yeah. All
right. Theodore Pinnock. I saw Wicked on stage 10 years ago. It was an excellent musical. It was made in the era when subversion was done in a genuine effort to do a creative twist rather than to undermine the original. Yeah, I mean, it was based on a book, I suppose, which was a subtle inversion of the original story, and then they turned it into a stage play, and here we are with a movie. It's only a matter of time until we get a novelization, and then we've gone full circle. But yeah, I agree. The stage show is pretty fun. Obviously, the big musical numbers are always going to be entertaining, and this is a neat enough little story. It's fine. The Gaming Angel says, I want to recommend 2 movies to people in the chat, especially for parents and animated fans. Wild Robot and Transformers 1. Both are great movies with a lot of heart. They feel like movies Disney and Pixar used to make. What is the deal with Transformers 1? Have you heard much about it? People seem to be saying good things.
I feel like he's the one that will decide if he says it's really good. I might go watch it because I hear a lot of good things, but Fringy was not like super passionate about his description of having seen it. He checked it out, so I don't know. It's not enough people have seen it for me to find out. As in, like, you know, I don't know if Gary's seen it, and Az is like the Transformers guy, so
don't
know.
I'm gonna find out then. But yeah, Wild Robot, that's another one I keep meaning to watch, and I will. It's just finding the time. Jason Webster says, I have only one question for Wicked's Alphaba. How many frequent flyer points do you have on the broom? I don't know, because it technically has to be an airline that manages the broom in order to allocate frequent flyer miles. So I don't think she's got any, you know. I'm just going to go out and make that claim. In fact, I don't think. Yeah. Cinnaholic says, Drinker, Mauler, big fans. Chris, did you eat Thai food while watching Wicked? I mean, the Thai food analogy was a bit of an odd one. I mean, I get what he was going for, but he asked me
times that it made it sound like he was being very literal, like as in the enjoyment of Thai food is directly tied to Wicked.
Yeah, because he asked me, do you like Thai food? And then I was like, okay, this is going to be some kind of like lead in. And then he waited for ages. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I have to actually answer this question then. Sure, yeah, sure. Thai's fine. And then it's like, well, okay, well, then that's going to determine whether you like this movie. But yeah, I mean, he could have just said, do you like musicals? That would have covered it. Anyway.
Acquired taste is the thing for that, right? That's what you say?
Sure.
Like, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I think a lot of the takeaway seems to be that it's well made, but not really for a lot of the people in our sphere. I've got no interest in really seeing it. I need to be convinced. I think I feel like I've already seen it, kind of.
You know what? I might go see it, and then I'll tell you if it's worth your time.
All right.
The answer might be no, but. Yeah, I did like Gary's review when he got out of the cinema. It was like, yeah, it was like really well made, and like the musical numbers were great, the performances were excellent, cinematography was really nice, and it was fucking hell on earth for me to watch it. Kaylee, Wicked is for women, theatre kids, and ex-theatre kids. That demo has been oppressed with it since early 2000s when Idina Menzel made the Elphaba character iconic, and her vocals are best for defying gravity. She did nail it. I'll give her that. Snoopy Diz says, a gay musical? Aren't all musicals gay? This must be the gayest musical there is. I mean, I think there is quite a high gay quota with most musicals. I mean, it just kind of goes with the territory. But yeah, this is probably next level. The funny thing is, right, I'm pretty sure in the stage show, they are just friends, right? And I think you can imagine where I'm going with this. Like, if this is a modern day movie, I'm willing to bet there's a romantic connection between them. Because, of course, there will be.
I have no idea.
Well, I'll report back. Zhen Mai Cha says, as a bundle of sticks, I will not be seeing Wicked. I prefer my gayness to be hairy, muscular, and gritty. A nice beer drinker, it's thick and bushy. Well, what are you suggesting, sir? I'll talk to you later. Mr. Lucky Sod I Am says, Jesus, wet Bo, are you sleeping at work? I know times are hard, mate. I'll have to go up to gold tier for you. Yeah, I'm deeply disappointed that you didn't see Gladiator in time. But, you know, he's been suitably punished. English Batchers. Werewolves and Nobody 2. That's all I'm excited for. What are you looking forward to? Probably Nosferatu.
Yeah.
I would say this is the last movie I'm excited for at the moment. Ian Carell says, the game Rise, Son of Rome sounded like it was a better Gladiator sequel. Most probably. That is a low bar. Jason Webster, Gladiator 3 will revolve around the grandson of Maximus, Gluteus Maximus. That's what you did there. I wouldn't be surprised. Don't give Ridley Scott any ideas. Galacta Watkins, first time watching Open Bar live. Hello to Drinker, Muller, Chris, and Platoon. Bo Mega Simp here. Keep up the epochs. Love every minute. Cheers. Nice, I'll pass that on. Kellen West, hello Drinker and Muller. It's my birthday on Monday, And come to find out, I get a roguish gift. Please take a shot of water for me. Your body might get more fucked up from that than the whiskey at this point in your career. I know, I'm practically allergic to water at this point, so gotta watch my intake. Ariane says, Hollywood releases 2 films at the end of the year that talks about the end of the glory of Rome, Gladiator 2 and Megalopolis. Interesting coincidence, eh? Yeah, indeed. I mean, Megalopolis is apparently just a gigantic disaster, and it's a complete flop. And I think it only released at this point because nobody could distribute it up until now. Lord Cabrito says, another example, Ridley Scott needs to retire, but he is making 2 more Alien movies. Great. Is he actually making them, or is he just like executive producing?
I'm assuming that's just a development of the fact that he wants to. I haven't heard anything that is actually happening, is it? Because what I will say, and I hate myself for saying this, I kind of want him to be able to complete his insane alien story. But I know I'm not going to like it because I fucking hated the first 2. So, it's like this weird thing of yeah, I guess, especially because it's Ridley Scott, I'm like, why don't you go ahead and get what you wanted done? Yeah, if you look at his upcoming, fucking hell, dude, he's got 19 upcoming projects on IMDb.
How is he doing it? Why?
And then, yeah, in here you've got Alien, the TV series, which is executive producer, and then an Alien, Untitled Alien prequel, which I think is the speculation on the sequel to Alien Covenant. There's also Blade Runner 2099 in there. Fuck. And then, that's what I mean, man. I'm just like, because a lot of people want to see the end of. I almost want him to be able to complete the story of David generating whatever the fuck with aliens, just so that we can have the complete story, and then we can be like, yes, that was shit. Thank you. Moving on.
I mean, I do in some ways, but for the sake of Michael Fassbender's career, I don't want him to make any more of these movies. He
can survive being in shit tons of bad things. He's like Michael Fassbender is no different than I forget his name, Kylo Ren, Adam Driver.
Oh yeah, Adam Driver, yeah.
They've both been in so much bad shit, but everybody knows they're really good actors. It's just like whatever.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. You can take a certain amount of hits, but it's just so sad to see him laboring away in shit movies like that.
He's like the best thing in Prometheus and Covenant.
I mean, sure, yeah, because like a guy like him can give a lot of gravitas to any character almost, but fucking hell, yeah, it's kind of depressing. And then, yeah, watching there be 2 of them in one movie is just stupid. Zico. Ridley said in an interview that Tarantino should shut up about 10 movies and make as much as he can. But before that, Quentin Tarantino said that he's doing 10 because he doesn't want to get old and ruin his legacy. Conflicting viewpoints there. It says a lot about their various careers. I mean, is Tarantino
complete opposites, you could say?
Yeah. Is Tarantino even going to do any more, or is he done now?
From what I've heard, he's done, but like I think that could change in a moment's notice, right? Like he could just randomly say, "No, I'm doing it again."
I mean, theoretically, he's still somewhat young. I mean, if Ridley Scott can still be churning them out when he's in his mid-80s, I mean, Tarantino's got plenty of years ahead of him.
I assume you're the same, but Tarantino's kind of filmmaker where I'm just like, I will watch whatever you put out. So
they're always interesting, if nothing else.
Yeah, I like the vibe of them. They always feel very snappy and sort of subversive in a good way, not the shitty subversive.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it always feels like he makes things that he's passionate about, and films that actually have something to say. You might not always like what they say, but they at least mean something, which I guess it's kind of what any artist aspires to. Like they're just doing the stuff they care about, and they're not just having to churn out garbage to make ends meet. David Gannon, also Mauler. I'm very sorry for my question on the existence of the Undercity in Arcane Last Open Bar. I was misremembering season 1. Do you accept his apology?
I just can't remember the interaction, so I apologize.
I think it was some kind of question about like if you're living in a world of hex tech and unlimited resources and like all the stuff they've been able to obtain, then why is there even an Undercity full of poor people?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they've not been shown to crack infinite resources in any way.
He also says, I saw Gladiator in the theater back in the day when Commodus whined, And now they cheer for him instead of me. A guy behind me cracked up the whole theater with a perfectly timed wah, which is nice. I like that. RRTNZ says, Hail Drinker, on your recommendation, I got a copy of Last Action Heroes. It's a fun read, which reinforced the reality of Chuck Norris's life being more impressive than the memes. Very heartwarming. Cheers. Yeah, Chuck Norris is a really interesting guy, actually. I didn't, we all know him from either the memes or the pretty cheesy action movies he did back in the day, but his actual abilities as a fighter and the people he worked with was pretty awesome. Like, apparently nobody wanted to fucking fight him. No, good guy. Daffy Duck says, question, 5 of you in the arena against Maximus. Can you take him down? Also, did you all check United Colors of Jaguar ad? Yes, we did. And so the people that were on open bar, all of us versus Maximus. So dumb. Are we armed? Is he armed?
If he doesn't have any weapons, we should be able to get him just by like all of us tackle him and someone go for the neck and just strangle him, sort of thing. If he's got a sword and we all get swords, that's not going to make a difference really on our end. We'll be shit. We'll be like, we'll all have to throw them at him at the same time, and hopefully one of them hits his head.
I think so, yeah. I suppose if you all go in swinging wildly, like he can't defend himself against 5 people simultaneously, but man, you'd have to have some balls to all
through
go
the
in.
power of editing, we'd all just slash each other's legs, and then he'd be standing there like, you fools. Oh, damn it.
What? If we had Shad on our team, do you think that would give us an edge? I mean, he knows about sword fighting, doesn't he?
It would be funny if he was asked, would he be able to defeat Maximus? I wonder if he'd say yes.
I think he would, yeah.
Maybe.
Sula Felix, you should do a happy hour on Caligula. Wow, I mean, I'm not sure how happy it would be, but yeah, that was a movie. MG says one of the best historical war films is Charge of the Light Brigade, 1968. If you haven't seen it, Drinker, then I highly recommend. I haven't seen that particular one, but okay. Sounds interesting. Croccast Podcast says, the one terrible thing that Top Gun Maverick did was to trick Hollywood execs into thinking that legacy sequels are the way of the future. I mean, we did predict at the time that they would learn all the wrong lessons from it, and they probably did, so can't say I'm surprised. RSE Elman, Drinker, it was awesome meeting you in Michigan. Detroit next time. Now, show off the ducky from hell, Ruben. Sorry, I don't have my camera on. It is around here somewhere. I think it's actually in the other room where I kind of brought all my stuff when I got home. But yeah, next time I do open bar, I will have it on display. How's that? Marcus Stain says, my parents watched the first one while my mum was pregnant with me. My dad loved it so much that he named me after Marcus Aurelius. They hated the second one. Well, that is doubly good. It's cool that they named you Marcus, and it's cool that they hated the second one. So, Captain Rex says, is that the pink Honda woman from Fast 2, lol? I mean, could be. I'm not sure.
I can't remember.
B-Chain, the Dodge Super Bowl commercial with Robin Williams as George Washington running down the Redcoats. 2 things America got right, cars and freedom. Nice. Hannah Hui says, my favorite game to play when I watch ads is Find the Straight White Guy. Yeah, good luck with that. And if he does show up, I'm pretty sure he'll be an incompetent fool. Jacob Coberholm says, the Jaguar marketing director, Santino, I can't even say that surname, is a flamboyant gay BLM supporter and has established over 15 DEI groups, apparently. Seems like the kind of guy who would make an advert like this, so explains a lot. Ligaret says, check out Volvo and Porsche new ads, how they capitalized on Jaguar's failure. Yeah, I mean, everyone's been roasting them. It's been glorious. Even Aldi had a go at them, which I just think is fantastic.
when you're getting fucking beaten up by Aldi.
Love it.
It's like the retarded kid has got you.
Paul Connolly, hail panel. While I'm aware of Ridley Scott's age, would you think he's doing the same way as Steven Spielberg? I don't think Spielberg has reached the same heights since Saving Private Ryan. It's been quite a while, hasn't it, since he's had a great movie.
What is the last Spielberg movie that we both would say is pretty good? Is it that?
Hold on, I'm gonna have to look this one up.
Because it
There's
ain't
gonna be a
fucking Ready
fuck-
Player One.
No. Let's see his filmography here. So, The Fablemans, West Side Story, nope. Ready Player One, nope. The Post, nah. The BFG, don't give a fuck. Bridge of Spies, that was quite good. Lincoln was all right. Not exactly like an all-time classic or anything, but for Daniel Day-Lewis's performance, it was pretty good.
Yeah, because I didn't see the BFG. I assume that's not.
Yeah, no one cares. Warhorse, again, it was all right. Nothing special. Adventures of Tintin, don't care. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, that was his last truly great movie, in my opinion.
God, that film was so benefited by Dial of Destiny. Because people were like, Crystal Skull isn't so bad, and we all had to be like, yes, it is.
Stop trying to rewrite history. So yeah, I mean, I think, Christ, yeah, since Saving Private Ryan, he's not really had anything truly, spectacular. Minority Report, what would we say? That was good.
When was Minority Report? I've forgotten.
It's 2002.
Oh, I like Catch Me If You Can as well. At least I remember liking it.
It was a nice whimsical movie.
I remember the War of the Worlds. That was a Tom Cruise one, wasn't it?
Yeah. I guess he liked him after working with him on Minority Report. But yeah, War of the Worlds wasn't great. It just felt like a movie that didn't need to be made. I still don't understand why they made it. But yeah. What age is he now, actually? Just out of curiosity. He has got to be a fair old age. 77. Yeah. I think his best
Ridley
days are
Scott
behind
being
him.
right?
Yeah, easily. Yeah. I mean, I'll give him his due.
Yeah, he's just pumping them out.
Well, not just that, but like he kind of looks fairly spry for his age. Like, yeah, most people in their mid-80s start to look pretty frail.
I mean, he's doing something that I hope that I do, which is you don't just sort of sit down and fade into a pile of sludge. You instead keep going until you literally die on the job, probably.
Yeah.
It seems like kind of cool.
I mean, it's, with these guys, it's not like they're working in some depressing office doing a job they hate. It's like you're getting to direct, theoretically, blockbuster movies. It's got to be fun.
I mean, dude, if I were Ridley Scott, I wouldn't be making these sort of sequel films to my classics. I'd want to be just fucking experimenting like crazy.
Yeah,
like,
why not?
Hey, I'm on death's door at this point. Fuck it, I'm gonna make anything. But simultaneously, we talked about this. It might be that he wants to make these sequels so that no one else can.
Potentially.
It's like, I can buy that. Like if you had this particularly beloved thing that you made in your prime, and then they're like, we're making a sequel to this, you can direct it, or we'll find someone else. Like, oh shit, fine, I'll do it.
Maybe there's some 4D chess going on. It's like, I'm going to fuck up these franchises so bad that like nobody can pick them up after this.
I remember that being the theory for TLJ. When did Ryan fuck it up? You try to kill it in order to save Star Wars eventually from being, driven into the ground with like 1 million entries. Who knows?
Yeah. Day Tripper says, don't care about Jaguar. Now the new DeLorean. That looks nice. Is there a new one? Hold on. Holy shit. There apparently is. It's got the gull wing doors and everything. But is this just concept art?
Don't know.
It's an EV, I'm pretty sure. Wow. Right, yeah, it's an all-electric. It's going to be built in Texas. It's going to cost you a cool 175 grand.
That's it? Nice.
Yeah. I get the impression it's a small company, and it's like you might have like a 5-year waiting list to get one, but oh well, cool.
Yeah.
It won't be stainless steel, though, sadly. God, what's the point? Anyway, Jason Cook says men won't let their wife buy vehicles that they feel are unappealing for any reason because they're going to have to deal with the damn things, so they need to appeal to men regardless. That is 100% true. Like, even if you're just driving it to the petrol station to fill it up or taking it to the garage for its MOT or its service, you still have to be seen in it. So if it's a piece of shit, you're not going to like that. So another reason why guys tend to buy the cars. Corroded Monkey says, isn't this Jaguar logo going to look like 69 in the rearview mirror? Yeah. The Gaming Angel. I don't think they're feminizing products, they're androgenizing them. Women aren't allowed to be beautiful, human, or desire love. I'm tomboyish and typically love things meant for boys, but I still love girly stuff too. I feel I don't belong anywhere anymore. This stuff is anti-human. They tear down what makes men and women great. I know, and then it leaves nobody satisfied at the end. Ejecta Curtin says, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood equals magnum opus. I'm not sure I'd describe it as his magnum opus, but I mean, it did feel like he had a lot to say about like the nature of Hollywood and what it means to, like, I guess, make movies that give you a slightly more idealized version of the world. So it's got a decent amount of meaning and substance to it. And yeah, there's some glorious scenes in it as well. We all love the flamethrower. Case the Ace. Have you been watching the new season of Cobra Kai? Yes, I was watching it just before I started this, actually. No one seems to be talking about it. I think I'm finally ready for this show to be over. I think it's... I'm not going to say it's outstayed its welcome, but it's probably had its time. And yeah, I think like a lot of people, I'm kind of ready for it to end. It's just kind of burned through like every possible character that they could bring back, every kind of permutation of the story. And I'm not going to feel sad when it ends necessarily, but man, it's given me some good times, that show. So I'm pleased that we got it, even if it's not quite at the level it used to be. Doggy says, hot take, Roddenberry would get TDS if he was still alive. Well, we'll never know. I mean, if you ported him into the present day, I think he'd be appalled by what they've done with his franchise, first and foremost. So, Fuka Carlson says, love you, drinker, Mauler and Co. Wish I could give some more, mate. Drinking some Jameson myself. What do you think of it, drinker? Gents, cheers. So, Jameson whiskey? Not a huge fan myself. Yeah, it's never really been my thing, but oh well. I hope you made good use of it on the night. RAC Elman. The Butlerian Jihad and House books from Brian Herbert are wonderful. All of the other books are not so good. Kevin J. Anderson helped with them. Right, okay. Like I say, I mean, beyond like the first couple of Dune books, my knowledge becomes a bit hazy. Kyle Clausen. What would it take for a movie to have a cultural impact, i.e. people naturally want to talk about it? Does it have to do with relevance or new ideas? That's a good question, actually. I don't think
it has to. The core thing's got to be that it sticks in your mind for whatever reason. It's got to stick in your mind. It's got to make you think about stuff. Anything.
Yes. Well, not just that, and I think, yeah, I guess it's got to keep you coming back to it. Like, you want to talk about the movie with your friends. You want to share like your thoughts on it online. You share memes about it. Like all of these things just to help to keep it in the zeitgeist, and they help to embed it in the culture. And the more people talk about it, the more longevity it's going to have. And this is why, like weirdly, things like Avatar, I think it's an indication of how little substance there is to something like that. We were all very impressed with the visuals, and we talked about that for a week or two. And then when the movie was out of theaters, there was nothing really more to say about it because there was no substance to that movie, especially not the sequel.
It is kind of difficult to say, though, in terms of like, because you could end up, culturally speaking, talking about a thing for its action scenes or for one big payoff in it, or someone's performance is just so good, you know, or a collection of all of it, really. I guess that's how you get everyone talking about it for a while.
Yeah. Nothing kills something's cultural relevance, though, than like a bad follow-up. This is why I worry, like, because everyone was talking about Squid Game a couple of years ago when it came out. It just hit the zeitgeist perfectly, and we were all like enamored with this concept, and pretty interesting, fun show. If season 2 sucks, that's going to kill people's passion for it. It will be out of the culture pretty quickly.
What I thought you were going to cite there was what we saw this year with Joker.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess there's a million ones. I wanted to speculate on one that hadn't come out yet, but yeah, I think Joker's, again, another prime example, really. I don't imagine people are going to feel compelled to go back to the first one anymore because we know what it's going to lead to. Captain Wrecked, I think we'll see more unification-style projects. I hope so. If they can, I guess, keep it to the same level of quality. Yeah, I guess I'd be curious to see what they do with it next. But there's potentially no limits to what you could do. I just don't know at what point Paramount might step in, because this was made by a separate company, wasn't it?
I don't know.
But it's like, I know I had the sort of blessing of the Roddenberry estate, but like Paramount ultimately owns the rights to Star Trek, so they were happy enough for something like this to get made. I don't know if you try and make it bigger and use more characters and more recognizable stuff. Would they step in and start causing problems? I'm not sure. They'd have to be assholes to do it, though. It's like the only good Star Trek thing we've had in like 20 years. Optimistic Nihilist says, modern Western media strips away the mystery from the world of every story that they tell, ruining it in the process. Eastern media such as anime doesn't, allowing us to wonder and interpret the themes. Well, I think you can blame prequels and spin-offs and stuff for that, where everything has to be explained. Every element of mystique has to actually be explored. It's just depressing, and it's usually the answers are way shitter than the questions. Big Flippin' Boss says, Mike was annihilating Jake in the first 2 rounds, and Jake was hugging him to tell him to calm down. Mike sold for the money is so obvious. Jake sucks. He never fights anyone with actual skill. I'm not convinced, man. Mike looked gassed pretty quickly. And Jake, as much as he's not a patch on him in terms of experience or skill, like, he is still a young guy, and he's bigger, and at this point probably stronger, and he's got a longer reach, and he's got way more energy and stamina. And all that stuff takes its toll, man. It really does.
I don't disagree with any of the things, both of what was just said. Like, I agree with you on that, but I also agree that there's some shenanigans if you look at slow motion repeats of a lot of the little interactions in the fight.
I wouldn't be surprised if the fight was kind of legit up to a point, but there was an agreement that like Jake wouldn't knock Mike out. Because that's the sort of thing that would really, beyond what it already has, and it would tarnish his legacy. A points loss, well, you can sort of excuse that and say, well, he's still standing at the end, and that's not bad for a 58-year-old. But if he'd actually got, say, knocked out in the first round or something, that would have just been an absolute disaster. So that I could sort of believe. Thunderstorm, same deal here. Fake fighting is watching 2 men dancing for money. Cyher says, drinking money. Thank you. Victor Elstad says, are you guys going to talk about Arcane Season 2? Yes, we did a great deal. You'll have heard it already by this point. Thunderstorm, will Kathleen Kennedy go woke free for her new trilogy to redeem her legacy, or will she burn it down and collect the insurance? I mean, I think either way, she's not going to be around to see it. I don't mean she'll be dead or anything. I just think she'll have retired by that point. And yeah, I don't think she'll give up on the message. Morpheus says, curious what you guys don't like about Arcane Season 2. Part 1 was pretty weak, but I really enjoyed Part 2, and I'm excited to see it finish and expand.
We've got hyper, in detail, autistic, super long EFAP episodes going through every episode. We've done 5. We've got 4 left. If you want to know why we have serious issues with every single episode of Season 2.
There you go.
Conversely, we've done the same, but in terms of praise for Season 1, because Season 1 was fucking awesome.
Harriman says Fate/Zero is worse than Game of Thrones season 8. Wow, that is brutal. Mercurial Funk says just got out of The Wild Robot. Highly recommend. Future classic for DreamWorks. Heard nothing but good things. Marksman says Platoon. That is the teddy bear versus unicorn film. I don't know why he keeps asking him about this. I'm not sure what that is a reference to, but oh well. He really wants to know if Platoon's seen it. John Thomas says, Drinker, that teddy bear unicorn movie is called Unicorn Wars. Absolutely the most bizarre and surreal thing that I've seen in a while. Chris made me see it. Okay. Michael O'Brien, which period of Roman history would you want to see a full HBO Rome-style series on? I would love to see the Tetrarchy from Diocletian to Constantine. I mean, sounds like you're a lot more of an expert on the Roman Empire than I am, my friend. Like, yeah, I wouldn't be in a position to answer that, I'm afraid. Muller, how's your history of the Roman Empire knowledge?
Oh, nowhere near as good as the fellas we had on for the episode. I mostly just listen to people talk about Rome myself. It's all very interesting.
Saber says, the issue with gaming is the same issue with Hollywood. Corporate investors running the show instead of passionate creatives. Sounds like, yeah, when there's a lot of money at stake. And passion is great, but you also need talent. The current crop of movie and game makers have neither. I mean, it seems to be, yeah, like they're talking about the AAA gaming industry being in dire straits at this point. And, well, are you surprised? Look what they pumped out. It's just mostly garbage. But, oh, well, they'll learn, hopefully. But that right there was the last of the super chats there for the other night. So thank you, everyone, for sending them through. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you joining us for Open Bars.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that'll be the next time you see us, most likely. So that'll just be in a couple of days. Well, I'm looking forward to it, and we will catch you there. But that is all
See you then.
That is all we've got for today. So go away now.
Bye.